Everyone. This is a very special Ekadashi that we are in today, and it is one of Bhakti Janani, the mother of Bhakti. So as a Vaishnava, there are a few days that we really, every day is very special to us, right? Because every moment is a special opportunity for us, right? To, achieve that love of Godhead. In every moment, if you love someone, for example, you like to invest some time, so you plan, you do so many things to appreciate that love or build that relationship much more stronger, right? In the same way, as practicing bhaktas of Vaishnava tradition, our main goal is to develop that love of Godhead with Krishna and service with Radharani. And with that, actually, is one of the special days for this Ekadashi. Very, very special day. Twice a month it comes. And it's a day where you really do more chanting, more hearing, do more Krishna conscious activities. Right? And if nobody has, we fast from grains and beans, rice, none of them. You can eat, there are different kind of level of fasting, somebody takes nothing, like full fasting. Even nowadays, scientifically, it is very good to do, this kind of fasting. They're very, very auspicious, actually, to perform this kind of fasting. And on this day, somebody takes only fruits, or roots. But mostly, spend more time in Krishna consciousness. That's the main thing. Today, so we'll be speaking on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14. So before that, we'll recite and chant Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Vasudevaya. So today we'll be reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse number 5. Sattvam rajastama iti. Sattvam rajastama iti. Sattvam rajastama iti. Sattvam rajastama iti. Guna prakriti sambhavaha. Guna prakriti sambhavaha. Guna prakriti sambhavaha. Guna prakriti sambhavaha. Nibandanti mahabaho. Nibandanti mahabaho. Dehi dehi namavyayam. Dehi dehi namavyayam. Anyone from Prabhuji's side want to recite?
Sattvam rajastama iti.
Sattvam rajastama iti.
Gunaha prakriti sambhavaha.
Gunaha prakriti sambhavaha.
Nibandanti mahabaho.
Nibandanti mahabaho.
Dehe dehi navyayam.
Dehi navyayam. Mataji.
Sattvam rajastama iti.
Sattvam rajastama iti.
Guna prakriti sambhavaha.
Guna prakriti sambhavaha.
Nibandanti mahabaho.
Nibandanti mahabaho.
Dehi dehi namavyayam.
Dehi dehi namavyayam. So synonym Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Raja, the mode of passion. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Iti, thus. Gunai, the qualities. Prakriti, material nature. Sambhava, produce of. Nibandanti, do condition. Mahabaho, O mighty armed one. Dehe, in this body. Dehinam, the living entity. Avyayam, eternal. Translation and purport by His Divine Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by his modes. The living entity, because he is transcendental, has nothing to do with this material nature. Still, because he has become conditioned by the material world, he is acting under the spell of the three modes of material nature. Because the living entities have different kinds of bodies in terms of the different aspects of nature, they are induced to act according to that nature. This is the cause of the varieties of happiness and distress. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manohishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Shahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Shahagana Radhika Shri Vishakanvitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। सत्वं रजस्तम इति गुणा प्रकृति संभवा निबन्धन्ति महाबाहो देहि देहिनमव्ययम्। Material nature consists of the three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, it becomes conditioned by these modes. So today we will be speaking on the chapter 4, summarizing the chapter. In last chapter we see chapter 13, how Krishna actually explains how the living entities, in the mood of Purusha, trying to enjoy, right? So he comes in contact with the material energy, the Prakriti. Because of this sense of desire of enjoyment, right? So when we desire, the Lord as the super soul sanctions it. He sees, do you really have that credit, right? To enjoy that, what you want, to be fulfilled with that, what you have desire. And material nature actually fulfills those desires based on the sanction of the Supreme Personality Godhead. And you see that, Supreme Personality Godhead is also Purusha, right? But generally, it's all living is Prakriti. We're supposed to be this servant, right? But when we try to enjoy as a Purusha, we get entangled, right? But Supreme Personality Godhead is not entangled in that way. So that's why we are different in terms of that, right? And Bhagavad Gita in chapter 13, 22, Krishna explains, Purusha prakriti stohi bhunte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sanghosya sadhusni janmashu. So he says here, Purusha prakriti stohi bhunte, right? Prakriti jan gunan, he wants to enjoy, right? So here in chapter 13, Krishna gives a glimpse of these modes. Because of these modes, now people are affecting and they come to this material world, right? And this is one of the biggest illusions. Sometimes we might think that we are a doer, right? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains actually this is one of the big illusions people have. Prakriti kriyamanani guni karmani sarvasah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manite. We think we are doer, but actually everything is controlled by the Prakriti through the modes of material nature. The modes of nature, see the picture here, the modes of material nature are making us dance all the time. Every moment, actually dancing based on the modes of nature, right? So, that's why this chapter actually is the chapter which helps us to diagnose our disease, where we are, what is our consciousness, and how can we elevate our consciousness from all this guna, right? And go beyond this, right? And just like the selfie stick, first we have to learn how to take a picture of ourselves, the more analyze ourselves, our heart. So that's why knowledge is so much important. So knowledge is for ourselves first, to see and rectify our disease. That should be our goal, right? And here in Bhagavad Gita chapter 14, first verse, Krishna says, Param bhuya pravakshami Jnananam jnanamuttamam Yagyatva munayo sarve param siddhimito gataha. Krishna says, param bhuyaha. I am telling you again, bhuyaha. I have already given this knowledge, but I am telling you again. And why? This is pravakshami jnananam jnanamuttamam. This is one of the best of the knowledge. But we see that Krishna already gave this knowledge. But why he's saying is already I'm repeating, and it's the best of the knowledge. Because in this particular chapter, Krishna is going to talk more detail on Jiva and Prakriti. How they really works, how they functions, right? How they interdependent and how it works, how they control. All these things are very, very nicely explained. And he says, when we know this, right? Yagyatva, all these munis, all the sages, with this knowledge of understanding, right? What they can have received, the param siddhim mitogataha. They achieve this liberation, this highest understanding, right? So that's why we see that, because of the three modes, we are contaminated, right? And Krishna's knowledge is very, very perfect because he's beyond the modes of material nature. We all are under the influence of the modes of material nature. So any knowledge actually we have, it has some influence. Even we're trying to share some realization, something, it is always being influenced by the mode of material nature. But Krishna's knowledge, because it's not influenced by any the modes, his knowledge is perfect. That's why even 5,000 years ago, Krishna gave this knowledge to Arjuna. It's so practical. It's one of the very, very practical chapter actually. The modes of this guna, this chapter is almost about 100 verses in Bhagavad Gita is about the modes. See how important it is understanding these modes of nature. Very, very important. So in this chapter, there are 4 sections that Krishna describes. The first thing he describes about what is the 3 modes of material nature, how it acts, how it defines, how we see, how we can analyze ourselves in these modes. Right? The first verse to 9th verse. And in the second section, Krishna actually recognize the mode supremacy. There is always competition within the mode. Sometimes the tamaguna is so much prominent in us. Sometimes the satoguna, sometimes the rajaguna. That's very, very into us everyday life. How they are really churning and fighting and taking positions. Right? That has been explained on chapter 14, verse 10 to verse 13. And then on the third section will be what happens, acting and dying within the modes. What happens if somebody dies in the mode of passion, mode of goodness, somebody leaves the body. If somebody leaves the body in mode of ignorance, what happens? So that has been detailedly explained in this section. And the last, verse 19 to 27, it's all about how can we go beyond these modes. Because all these modes are trapped. Right? Even if you are tamaguna, it's still not good. If you are rajaguna, still not good. Even if you are sataguna, still not good. You're still in the trap. So how to go beyond? That's a whole discussion that Krishna is going to describe. So we can see that the 3 modes affects our entire existence. Whatever we think, what we do, our value, our judgment, everything is based on our modes. Even everyone, there is just some problem going on. Every individual will think in a different way the solution. Because everybody's consciousness, the modes are very, very different. Right? If something happens, they will resolve the issue in a different way. Right? Because the modes are very, very different. So here the 3 ladies, as I said, they are the 3 guna. In Sanskrit, guna means rope. And this rope are binding us. Right? And with different combinations, we have primary colors, right? In science, if you have read, the red, blue and yellow. These 3 colors, with the combination of the 3 colors, you can generate any colors you want. If you learn actually art, you can actually, if you want I want this color, red, I want certain color, you can just play around with this color, you can generate any color you want with this 3 primary color. In the same way, these 3 gunas through permutation combination, different thousands of different modes are there. Moods are there generated. Just like colors, like some if you see some lights, with crystal lights, when the lights are passed, so many different varieties, especially prism, like the signs they have, send a white light, all different violet, indigo, all different color comes. In the same way, these modes combine each other and form different varieties. Right? In the same way, actually, because of this, Krishna says, this desire, everyone has different desires. And this desire is fulfilled by different body you get. Right? If you want to enjoy certain things, you need certain body. So there are 84 million species. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasham Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradapita. In this chapter, Krishna says, because of desire, people want to enjoy. So that's why all this yoni, all these living entities are born. Right? So Krishna says that I am the seed-giving father, because I sanction those desires, and that's why they gave different body. Somebody wants to be naked, become a tree, become naked all life, thousands of years. Right? Someone wants to eat meat, get the body of lion. Right? Somebody want to have, all this body, human life, all these 84 million species. Actually, Padma Purana explains very detailed about all these living entities. So many insects, how many reptiles are there, how many plants, how many amphibians, all these are described. These are all different forms of desire. To fulfill the desire, Krishna sanctions his body. Right? And that's why, this material nature is very, very difficult to overcome. Krishna, once you get in trap of this material nature, Ar kenu maya chale Puritecho jivamina Ar kenu maya jale Ati tuchha bhoga se Bandi hoye maya pase Rohile vrikrata bhave Dhalya jatha paradhina. This just for enjoying, small enjoyment we have. What happens? We get trapped. And this Maya is so strong. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, just like he's telling the fish, fish, getting trapped. Don't get trapped in this net of this fisherman, because once you get trapped, it's impossible you can come out. Very difficult, right? So this is foolish to get trapped. That's what Krishna explains it in Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning itself. Devi esha gunamari mama maya durtya. It's very difficult to overcome. Very, very difficult to overcome. So we should not get entrapped in this. Right? So whenever we come, this material world like a prison house. That's a Durga. Very difficult means Durga. So she's in charge of this material world. Right? So whenever somebody comes to this prison house, what they do? What is the first thing they do? They change the dress. Everyone, Kaidi number 101, 102, everybody gets different, same dress with different, numbers. Same thing, we all get. We have desire, you want a prison, everybody get different numbers, different dress, all that. This body actually is a dress. Right? And second thing you get is chain. Everybody is tied. So different modes, maybe somebody is Sattva Guna, it's like gold chain, somebody is a silver chain, and somebody is an iron chain. Right? But everybody is chained. So the freedom from the chain is very, very important. Bhaktivinoda Thakur again in beautiful bhajan, he describes how this freedom actually has caused so much suffering. Ekho na bujhino Prabhu Tomara charane Ashoka bhayamrita Punasarva kana. He's saying that, now I realize, my Lord, that your lotus feet actually is the place where Ashoka, there is no any pain, soulless, and Abhayamrita, it's nectar, there is no fear in the lotus feet. Right? I want to take that shelter of the lotus feet, because it says, Bado dukha paiyachi swatantra jivana Dukha dure gelo upadavarani. Because what bado dukha payachi, I suffered so much. In the want of freedom, I want freedom. I don't want Krishna you. I want to enjoy myself. Right? But trying to be free, we get trapped in this material world. We don't want Krishna. That's why we get into this material world, where we have freedom. Seemingly freedom is there. Right? Certainly freedom we have. But because so much pain and suffering here. In another bhajan, Bhakti Thakur, Bhuliya to mare samsare asya penana vidabhyatha. I forgot you, my Lord. And because of which, I came to this material world. I don't want to really serve you. That's why I'm here. And it's suffering. And chapter 13 actually, Krishna actually describes this. Janma mritu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudasana. There's really pain, right? Very much pain. And we have so much desire, we have unlimited desire. Chintam parimeyam cha pralayantam upashrita kamapa bhoga parama etavaditi nishita. He says, Chintama parimeyam cha pralayantam upashrita. We are every time trying to fulfill our desires. Chintama parimeyam cha pralayantam. Even at the time of dissolution, the whole creation is still we want to enjoy. We are still going to die already in deathbed. Still we have so many desires. Oh, I wish I want to plan, I want to give this key to my son-in-law, daughter-in-law, whatever it is. So many things we have still in the head. Right? Pralayantam pasita, kama bhoga parama, ita vaditi. Maybe today I was not able to enjoy. Tomorrow, definitely I will enjoy. If tomorrow not, the day after tomorrow. If this body is gone, maybe next body, definitely I will enjoy. We are like going after this cycle of enjoyment. One after another, but never happy. Pralayantam pasya, kama bhoga parama, ekta vaditi nishya. Right? Asha pasa satir baddha. And this desire is thinking, oh, maybe to want to really, we are getting trapped in the entangle of this Maya. Very difficult. And as Durga Devi, as this material world is prison house, Durga Devi is she has the jailer. So make sure everyone is cleaned and can pass. So her Trishul actually represents the three miseries: Adhyatmika Klesha, Adibhutika Klesha, Adidevika Klesha. These are very, very difficult problems in this world. Right? So even our own body and minds, Adhyatmika Klesha is troubling you all the time. And second, Adibhutika Klesha, other living entities, your neighbors, your friends, everybody is troubling you. And Adidevika Klesha, the natural disaster, the hurricane, the earthquake, everything. So the escape route is Bhakti Yoga, right? So how can you understand the three gunas? There's a beautiful story, a very common story about the three hat seller. The three brothers were there. And the one brother name is Sattva, other is Rajas, and other is Tama. So Tama they were hat seller, they make hats and they sell. All the three of them had separate business, but they all a hat seller. So one day the Tama went to the city, tried to sell, and on the way he got very tired, he wanted to take lunch. And he sit down, and he tried to eat lunch, and he was so tired he slept to the tree. Because there's a new place he went to sell the hats. And he got tired, he woke up. He saw all the hats are gone. You see, the whole tree was filled with monkeys. And monkeys were wearing his hats. And he was so frustrated. And he started, condemning his life, dejected. Started crying, oh my life, see how hard I worked. It's waste. I want to suicide. Such a waste of life. How hard I work. He was so dejected. He blamed the fate. Look at my fate. How worst, miserable life I had. I tried to do something, see, somebody does really bad thing for me. He was so dejected. And he went home, drank the alcohol, and slept. Always thinking, oh my God, life is miserable. And next day, another brother went to another brother Rajas went to sell the hats. And also he was also tired. He also sat under the tree, and same thing happened. The monkeys were wearing the hats. Oh, the Raja was furious. He was so angry. He started throwing stones at the monkeys, and he was screaming and scolding and said, I will burn this tree. I'm going to come to and burn this. He was so angry, furious. And he started screaming, angry, impatient, and went back home. And another day, there was another brother, Satur. He came and was tired, he slept, and he woke up, the same thing. The monkeys. Monkeys always love to do crazy things. If you have been to Vrindavan, they will steal all your spectacles. It's very, very crazy. So they stole everything again. But you see that Sato, he became observant. What happened? So you see he is mimicking. The monkeys are mimicking. So he took out one of his hat from his pocket and started wearing. And the monkeys are also trying to imitate it. And he took out this hat and started throwing on the ground, smashing. And all the monkey took out and smashing on the ground, And this guy, he collected everything. And got all the hats and went to his business. You see that, this is what it is. Same thing happening, same event in our life. But the action of the person is different. So that's why on the base of the modes, everybody will do in a different way, different action. Right? Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, the different chapter, Krishna very detailed explains, even every action we do, how it is in different guna. Like somebody says, is tapasya doing austerity, performing good or not? Good, very nice, right? But the tapasya also can be in three modes. It can be Rajaguna, Sattva-guna, and Tamaguna. Just like you see the demons, they also perform. Can any one of us can do austerity like Hiranyakashipu? Impossible. Bhasmasur, he was literally cutting his body and offering to Lord Shiva. And he was able to give up his head. And Lord Shiva came and gave him blessing. And what kind of blessing he wanted? He said, my Lord, I want to touch somebody's head. And his head has a blast. You see that? That's Tamaguni Tapasya. Right? That's nature. They're always destroying, Either they don't like to do anything, or they have a destructive mentality. The tamasic. That's what it is. Right? And those who does in the mood of passion, those who tapasya, what they do? Dhan sampati ghar mein aave, Om Jaya Jagadish Hare, Swami Jaya Jagadish Hare. Right? Dhanandahi, Putrandahi, Striyamdahi, I want this, I want this. Oh, I have all the demands. Why you worship business? If I give you laddu, you have to give me this. You have all these business actions with the Lord. These are all the rajasic tapasvis, right? They do all the perform austerity, but they have demands, a lot of demands. I need this. In the sattvic, they're more calm, right? They have almost no demand. So that kind of austerity is very, very committed. So here, you see the sattva-guna leads to purity. Actually, Krishna describes in this chapter that one of the symptoms of sattva-guna is happiness. They're always happy. Right? So it leads to purity and knowledge. And that's why knowledge is also so important. To become in the sattva-guna. Jnana is a very, very important aspect. There is saying why people do sin, why people perform sin. One of the major causes is jnana, ignorance. People don't know. They're killing animals like anything, eating, slaughtering. They don't know sometimes. Because of ignorance, they don't know what kind of sin they are performing. Right? So one of the cause of sin, bija, when we plant the seed of sin is because of ignorance. Right? So all these things are there. In sattva-guna we have clarity and very balance and wisdom. So example of sattva-guna we can see Vibhishan. Alright? Heat and Sattva-guna. And we can see Rajas. It leads to intense desire. More, I want more. Never enough. Alright? That's what happens with the Rajaguna. Passion. So much attachment. Restlessness. Endless activities. Agitation. Because always will be there. Because desire will not be fulfilled. We work like a donkey. Just like a donkey. If you have seen in Vrindavan, they have a donkey, and in front of the donkey there's like hanging like that, and they have a fresh carrot in the morning they put, and the donkey walks, to wish to get that carrot. The whole day the owner makes him, roll it on, because the more he tries to go in the front to get the carrot moves up ahead. So he think up to this, now definitely I'm going to catch the carrot. And at the end of the day, when it's already rotten, then the owner gives the carrot. This is our life. We're running after this happiness, day and night. Right? That's why endless agitation and suffering. Right? So there's always something we want to gain. So example of Ravana, passionate, always desires, always nothing enough for them. The passion energy. And the tamaguna is the mode of ignorance. Right? So it leads to darkness and delusion and lazy. They don't like to do anything. It's okay. Right? Everything will happen. They're like Sattva-guna also, they are not very different, but lazy, this Tamaguna, they don't want to do anything. Right? Procrastination, madness, intoxication, that's what they do. Waste time, always playing, gambling, Yeah, I don't know if you have not seen, you can also see over here sometimes in New York and New Jersey, some people they're drunk, or in marijuana, they're on the street lying down, nothing, it's in own world, they're sleeping in the gutter, nasty. I've seen in Nepal especially, many people, they're drunkard, just like that. They have no idea what is happening in their life. That's the tamaguna. So drunk, so filthy place they are. Right? And then decision like Kumbhakarna, all the time is sleeping, 6 months is sleeping. Right? So that's why Krishna explains Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati Raja Karmani Bharata Jnana Mavrita Tum Tamaha Pramadi Sanjaya Yuta. He says, O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one's to happiness. When somebody is in mode of goodness, what happens? One become happy. So passion conditions one's to fruitive action. So when we are rajasic, right, we want to do things, action, like always busy. See, America is all about busy. Everybody, on the car is no time to even eat. Eating in the car, honking, everybody busy. Right? As the Prabhupada says, Rajastamo Gunera Sabayachana. Everybody is affected by this mode of ignorance and passion in the Western world. And ignorance covers one knowledge. They have no idea what is happening. Simply dull. Right? And binds one to madness. And all these modes are binding. Right? So the second section is recognizing the mode supremacy. So from verse 10 to 13. Rajastama bhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. Raja sattvam tamaschaiva tamas sattvam rajastatha. He says, sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. So in our life, every day, it's not like every time we are in Sattva-guna. No. Sometimes we go on Tamaguna, sometimes we go Rajaguna. And it's very much required too. So Tamaguna, it also has advantage. It's not like, you don't need Tamaguna. No. If you don't have a Tamaguna, you cannot go to sleep. So sleeping actually also is Tamaguna. Sometimes people have a disease, they cannot sleep. It will make you crazy. I remember the story of Stoka Krishna Prabhu in Radha Gopinath temple. He was a brahmachari because he was leaving his body, and people were like, they don't want him to sleep because anytime the body might pass. So they want to be alert. And he becomes so agitated. And the doctor says, because if you don't make him sleep, he will go crazy. He will go crazy. So sleep also is required. Right? because that tamaguna also required in our life, but we have to use it, right? And every action, like even bhakti, you see that people who are in mode of passion, like book distribution, you need a lot of passion energy, so much energy, all the work you're doing, so it's passion energy, right? And sattva, meditation, calm, right? All these guna, very, very important, and they always are fighting again, all the time. And we can see in our life, how this different foods, what kind of we eat, they have mode of goodness, mode of, all those good fruits, vegetables, prasad, they are mode of goodness. And all the spicy, oily, too much, they are very rajaye food. And tamas, stale. And America is all about frozen food. So you have frozen, processed food, all the chips, everything, and old food. And that's why it's a tamas. And our consciousness also develops in the same way. What we eat, we become the one, right? And clothes, right? You see the clothes over here. I remember this picture. One of the big actor, Rishi Kapoor, was sharing in his tweet. That's why I still remember this picture. Look at this crazy. And this was not cheap. It was a very expensive dress. Is it a dress? I don't know if you can see in the picture. It's really expensive dress. It's very expensive dress. If you go to my country, they were thrown big time. What crazy people. So this is tamasik. And you see even music. So if you see some flute, nice. You see how it automatically changes consciousness? And somebody see how you already, your passion is already started. And heavy metal. This kind of thing, you go crazy already, isn't it? Sorry. So that's what it is. And time also. You see that? Time was exactly like that. It also in the three modes. Can anyone, you see that in the Brahma Muhurta, before the sunrise, in the morning time, any disco club opens at a time? Morning 3 a.m., 4 a.m., there's disco club that opens. People go for disco at a time. Morning. There is no disco club that will work. They'll fail. Because the modes, the timing is not going to work. Completely different modes. Right? But in the morning, naturally, it's very easy for meditation. Very easy for chanting. That's why even in our time, learn, read in the morning. Because the time is so nice, you can memorize, learn very fast. It's a mode of goodness. Even to see the prahar, there's Ashta Prahar, 8 prahar are there. So, and working time, you say 9 to 5. Why the 9 to 5 everywhere the work is there? Because it's time for passion. It's work, action, everything starts with this timing. So everything is bound by this, right? So, and that's what Krishna says. So the third section is acting and dying within the modes. Now what happens to these people? If somebody leaves the body in tamaguna, his life is hopeless case, what happens? Right? Krishna very nicely describes this. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya guna vrittistha adho gachanti tamasha. You see that those situated in mode of goodness gradually go upwards to the highest higher planets. Those in the modes of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish world. You see, very based on your consciousness, how you're developing, right? So if somebody is very, very sattva-guna, they can go to heavenly planet, but that's not the goal. Again, Krishna says. So this is what I'll finalize with that in the last section, because sattva-guna is not our goal. Still, Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravarti Arjuna. Krishna says that even you go to Brahma Loka, you still have to come to this material world. You still, if you enjoy all the punya, because sattva is a mode of a sinless life. But being sinless does not mean that it's great. That's what Krishna very nicely explained about this karma and sakarma. I want to go into this section, but here you see somebody in mode of ignorance. What happens? They will take a lower species, or even go back to in hellish planet. They will fall down. They will degrade. And those who are in mode of passion, you have to enjoy. You get another human body to put more actions and passion to fulfill our desires, right? And those who are in sattva-guna, they go to heavenly planets. So again in another verses like 14 to 15, Krishna explains that what is the destination after death. First is higher planet, those who are in goodness, passion that I explain, and result of action, right? It's pure, very nice, all the action what you do. And the passion, what is the result of this passion? Krishna explained verse number 16, it will just bring miseries. Yahi samsparsa ja bhoga dukkhayo nevate adyantavanta konteya nate suramati buddha. You know this material world you try to enjoy, Krishna says becomes the cause of your suffering. I always give an example, just like you love pizza so much. How many pizza slices you can eat? 1, 2, hey, it's a favorite. Eat more, 3, 4, 5. Please, enough. It's a favorite. You love it, right? But if you force it, you will hate. You don't want to even see pizza anymore, right? That's what it is. It's the passionate energy that it brings ultimately misery, right? And ignorance, foolishness, with all the nonsense, with the result of action, right? In mode of ignorance. And what is the effect? It does when you're in Sattva-guna, there is a high chance of gaining the knowledge, real knowledge. The revelation of knowledge is very easy. So someone who has a really good consciousness, they can easily grab the spiritual knowledge very fast. And in the passion, what is the effect? More. I want more. Glorium, greed. Never enough. Right? If you are a millionaire, you want to become a billionaire. If you are a billionaire, you want a trillionaire. Never enough. That's what is the mode of passion. Right? And mode of ignorance, madness and illusion. They're always crazy, always shouting, always angry, always crazy. They have no idea about life. That's the mode of ignorance. Right? So always have choice. So, in Bhagavatam, beautiful verse. Nidehamatyam shulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam Mayanukulena nabhasvataram pumadhavabhim nataretsa atmaha. It says that the human body actually is what is the benefit of very rare human life actually. Very, very rare human life. Right? And by which somehow we got this human life. Right? But even we have this human life, and if we are not using it to perfect our life, going back to Godhead, and we have not constructed the boat and taken state of spiritual master as a captain, we have to follow the spiritual master, the Guru Karnadhara, right, the captain, and follow his instruction, right, of the personality of Godhead as a favorable wind. The instruction of the Lord is favorable wind, because you might have a boat, but if there is no favorable wind, you can't even cross the ocean, right? And impelling it on the course, considering all its advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. Right? Because you wasted, because you're going to fall down again, because you don't know what life you're going to get in next life. You might have a chance of even human life. But if you waste all the time, ahara nidra bhayamaitu namsa Samani metat vipashubhinam dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pasubhi samanam. What is the real difference between animal and us? If you really see, we are also eating, they are also eating. Ahara, sleeping, we are also sleeping. Bhaya, we are also fearful, we are also fearful. Maitum, we also have, sex, we are also having sex. Same thing. What really difference? Understanding of our real purpose of life. That's the only difference. And if you don't utilize this, you are no better than animals. Dvipada pasu. That says. So the last and the transcending the modes. So we have to see that how can we transcend the three modes of material nature? Krishna actually in the beginning itself explains that Traigunya Vishayo Veda Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirvandalitya Sattvasto Niyogachi Mahatmavan. He says all the Vedas, the knowledge of Vedas is for what? Only gives the knowledge of these three modes. But Arjuna, Krishna says, you have to go beyond this. Then Dvandva Nitya Sattva. You have to go to Suddha Sattva. That's our goal. Because as I said, all these three modes are still the boundaries. Even you might say, oh, Sattva is very nice. But sometimes these Sattva are very difficult to make them devoted because, oh, I'm already happy. Oh, so nice life. Why have to worry? Very difficult sometimes. Right? So that's what we have to go beyond. So what is the quality of these people? Is this Sattva, equipoise? They're not, they're not affected by, happiness and distress. They have not so much hankering of things in their life. And they are like neutral, indifferent to their pushing. Anything happening in life, dukkha, sukha, they're not so much, affected. Right? And free from hankering. Shamsuna ki jai, Himayataya ki jai. Right? And free from envy. So these are the symptoms of these people who are in the system. So, actually, these are the questions that Arjuna asked. What are the symptoms? What is the behavior of this kind of people who are beyond these three modes? And the Krishna is explaining, all these qualities. So he says, Arjuna asks, what is the behavior of this kind of person? So Krishna explains, they are always steady in all circumstances. If somebody blame you or praise you, it doesn't matter for them. They're not affected. If somebody blames us, we get already agitated and angry. You blame me. What do you think of yourself? For the people in this consciousness, they're not affected by this. Neither praise really doesn't matter. Honor or dishonor, happiness or distress, and desirable or undesirable. They have nothing, right? And deals equally with everyone and everything. Even with enemies. They're always samadharsi. Earth or stone or gold, everything is same for them. We call it. Right? Even gold is the same like a stone for them. Nothing is different for them. Right? And a friend or enemy, same thing for them. And they never act whimsically. Because they always surrender to Krishna. That's the ultimate thing. The main strength of them is they are surrendered. Right? And they are determined to practice spiritual practice. Always doing sadhana, chanting, following the regular principles. They always, every many families actually, every day, even they have deities, they worship the deities, offering arti. Every single day, they do abhishek, they have some deities. Why? There's a determination. And that is actually very, very important. So that's the quality Krishna is explaining. Right? So, that's a verse that explains Mamcha yogya vicharina bhakti yogena sevate sharunan samatite tan brahma bhujaya kalpate. There is one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Look at that. Immediately, once you become a devotee, you connect with Krishna. Naturally, you're already giving up all this mode of, all the chains started breaking very easily. Right? So that's why one should engage, continue to engage ourselves in devotional service. Right? So ultimate lesson we got, all the modes tie us. They always bind us. Right? And Krishna untie us. He can free. As Krishna explained, Devi Esa Gunamai Mama Duratya Ma Evaye Prapadanti Maya Mitam Taradate. Those who surrender to me, all this the material nature you can cross over easily. And modes are captivating. They are very alluring actually. They can capture very easily. Right? Krishna is liberating. Krishna can deliver us. Right? So in this. And all overview what we did in this chapter 14 is we define what is mode of material nature, the three types of modes, Tamaguna, Rajaguna, and Sattuguna, and understand the modes, right? What are the symptoms, what are the nature of these three modes. And another section we have recognize the mode supremacy, what actually it does. The goodness always give clarity, passion give always anxiety, and ignorance leads to delusion. And we also saw that what happens if we acting in different modes. Right? Goodness takes us to heavenly planets, passion, earthly planets, and ignorance, hellish planets, or lower level planets, living entity. And the fourth section, we see that Arjuna questions of the symptoms of who has transcended these three modes, what is his behavior and how he transcends. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anybody have any questions? If we have time, you can take one question. Shri Krishna Prabhu has one. Mic. Somebody has a mic? Where's the mic?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have some question with reference to, I guess, chapter 10 or 18 about Chitti Shakti. If you can throw some light on that. Chitti Shakti, जो तीन मोड्स के बाद अचीव कर सकता है.
चित शक्ति.
चित शक्ति. हाँ जी.
There's a different चित शक्ति वो अलग ही है. चित शक्ति संबित संदर्भ हला देनी और चित शक्ति अलग शक्ति है. जैसे वो भगवान की शक्ति है जो राधा रानी और बलराम जी और कृष्ण जी, ये चित शक्ति है. पर ये तीन मोड में नहीं है चित शक्ति. इसके बारे में हाँ दूसरे बात कर सकते हैं. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे
माते जय जय माता जी. वी कैन टेक लास्ट क्वेश्चन. जय प्रसाद.
Hare Krishna, very nice class, wonderful realization, reflection on this chapter. I want to comment, and one question is also there. As you tell about the pizza, right? People like pizza and they eat one slice, two slices. Same thing like in this material world, birth is very rare, right? Human birth is very rare. At the same time, there's lots of miseries also. I'm connecting with the pizza. Right? If we eat more and more, then we get something, right? So in this material world, it's full of miseries. And Krishna consciousness is the way we can, like we always hear.
I think you muted. Press the button.
We always hear, we should try to go back home, back to that, on Godhead, right? But if we are not able to go in this life, then again we have to take birth again, right?
Yeah.
So what is the use? What is the use to come back again? And in this full of miseries world.
Okay, so we have to ask ourselves that question. In this verse, yahi samsparsa ja bhoga dukha yo evate adhyantavant kaunte nate shramati buddha. So it explains that again, it's not a pizza you will hit now. Again tomorrow, hey, pizza party, let's go. This is what the problem is. The pleasure you have is beginning and it is ending. The material pleasure is just like that. It's temporary pleasure. Same thing. You just imagine in our body, right? You know the toe, the last finger, what they call it, on the pinky finger. Huh? The pinky finger on the foot. Have you sometimes you realize how much pleasure it has given to you in your life? It has given, even you don't even realize it's there. You know, like maybe eyes, you want to see movies, maybe some tongue is giving enjoyment, some sense touch. But this your finger, you see that is there. But the same pinky finger, some thorn or you hit someone. Oh no! What kind of misery it can give you? So painful, really. So pain is higher in this material world, so high. But the problem is we forget. We forget. The tendency to forget. We have so much suffering. That's why asha pasa satir baddha kama krodha parayana ihanti kama bhogartham anyaya artha sanchaya. So we think, oh, today I'm not going to enjoy it. Tomorrow definitely, right? I'm 100% sure. No, I'm going to enjoy tomorrow for sure. Ask वक्त नहीं मिला. I didn't get time today. Tomorrow I'll have a nice time. At the time of retirement, let me work hard now. At least at the time of retirement, I'll relax, enjoy whatever I want. We still think like that, right? But this is so binding, right? But ultimately, we have to come out. Because until we had this desire that, okay, temporary enjoyment has already frustrated me. Very beautiful verse by Santa Goswami in Padyavali. Kama dinam katina. No, this one. Very beautiful. Beautiful verse where it describes that that we are trapped in this world where remember the verse. But anyway, I'll recite a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita where it says, Kama dinam katina katidam palita durnidesa tesam jatamaina karuna natrapano pashanti utsri jaitana yadupate shampratam yatra buddhi tvamayata saranam abhayamam. Right? Niyum Shvatma Dase Kama Dina Katina Katida Palita Durnidesa. This desire, the Kama, we have pampered him, we have nurtured him, we have served him so many times. In the hope, after hope, he is going to satisfy me one day. Kama Dina Katina Palita Durnidesa. And I know that he is not going to satisfy me. I know, knowingly I am serving him, trying to fulfill the desire. Whatever he has, all the senses are asking me this. I want to go here, I want to go there. I am trying to fulfill all the desires. But I know I'm so foolish. I'm trying to serve him, all these senses. But they never satisfied me. Right? But I'm so fool, knowingly, shamelessly actually is here described. Shamelessly I'm serving them. But today, my Lord, somehow, right, I am surrendered to you. Manasaja, I now remember the verse. Manasaja phani juste, labda patoshmi tushte, timira gahana rupe, hanta samsara kupe, ajita nikhila raksham, hetu mudhara daksham, upanay mama haste, bhakti rajun namaste. Right? So, here is describing that this material is so andagupa, is taking us down. The sense desire is manasaja phani juste, very difficult to overcome this desire. Like labda patasmi dushte, and it's not Mahaprasad Govinda. The senses are very dushta. They will act, they will let you, make you so crazy things because to fulfill. Give me this, demanding and make you go crazy. Right? Timira Gahana Rupe, and my Lord, you can deliver from me. So please, Bhakti Rajun Namaste, please send me the Bhakti Rup. And I promise you, I will hold this Bhakti Rup. Then I will never leave. So ultimately now we have this opportunity. We at least now have this knowledge. Hey, we have to utilize this human form of life. This, if we use all our life for this eating, Ahara Nidra Bhaya Mithunam Sa, what is the point? We are two-legged animals, the Shastra says. What's the point? What's the difference? At least now we have come to that realization. So we have to take the shelter of this knowledge of the scriptures. Take the shelter of the devotees. Take the shelter of Krishna and pray so that we can be delivered. I don't want this anymore. Enough is enough. But we need to say boldly, enough is enough to the senses. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nanda Goswami ki jai.